just so you know, if you're not overly comfortable with stepping into his presence, when I met Aaron and I went to my first family function, I wasn't overly comfortable. They welcomed me, but I wasn't part of the family. I didn't know where I fit yet. But you know, the more I was there, the more comfortable I got. The more you're with the Lord, the more comfortable you get. Not in a lazy way, because you know it's home. I can now go in and totally throw myself across my mother-in-law's couch and I'm like, I'm here. Right? Because I know she loves me and I know I'm welcome there. That's exactly how he feels about us. The Lord's actually been talking to me today about the fact that we're all made individually. You know, one of the things when we started doing this that stole my joy, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I'm not really like most ministerial wives. I'm a little different. I'm a little loud. I don't always sit proper. I don't always cross my T's and dot my I's. And that's nothing in judgment of the women who do, because I have some amazing women who have it all together all the time that speak into my life. I'm just not one of them. And you know, it really made me feel condemned. But it wasn't them condemning me, it was me condemning me. And so I had to let go of that. But the Lord brought it back up today. He was reminding me the one thing that we all have as children of God that we're called to is to be imitators of Christ. Everything we learn in our human nature, we learn the same way. We learn by observing it in other people. If I want my children to learn to worship, I can't go, you know what? You and you, go worship, right? They learn by watching other people who worship. My children don't say, listen, my children don't use cuss words because we don't use cuss words. On the other side, my children can be a little sassy because we're a little sassy. They learn by example, as do we. We will never step into the things that God has for us until we start to imitate Christ. You may not get it right the first time, the second time, the third time. But it's in the continuation. I didn't learn to walk, I'm sure, the first step I took. I assure you my children didn't. They had a few bumps and bruises along the way. But as you can see, all four of them can walk just fine now because they kept at it, right? So as we continue to imitate Christ, and God knew that was the way that we were, or I don't think he would have sent Jesus. It says that Jesus did only what he saw his daddy do, right? Because he knew we needed the example. But here's what else he says. He says in Psalm 139, for you were formed in my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. It doesn't say that me and Jennifer were in the same womb. I was in my own womb. He knitted me together in my mother's womb. He knitted you together in your mother's womb. I promise you, there is not a single person in this room that was not in a mother's womb at some point. You can laugh. We all came from the womba, right? That's how you should say it. There's a B. It shouldn't be there, but it is. Womba. Anyway, I got myself right off task. But Here's what the Lord pointed out to me today. I don't know a whole lot about knitting. I know how to sew. I know how to cook. I don't know how to knit. But I thought, how interesting that he chose knitting to describe the way that we were made. And so I started looking into it. And I thought, if God had made us in a different way, then putting us back together when we fall apart would have been a much harder process. When you have a hole or a breakage in something that's knitted, it's one of the easiest things to mend. But here's the other thing he said. I looked up how you mend knitting. And it says that you have to turn that thing inside out. And it's healed from the inside. The things nobody sees, the parts that are within. And then when it's all closed up, he flips that sucker out and it looks brand new again. And that's how he does it to us. But each of us are made in our own way. Listen, your knitting yarn may be gray. Mine is polka dot. His might be orange and yours might be red. It may be the thick kind. It may be the thin kind. It may be the rainbow colors. It may be, the earthly colors. But he designed each of us individually. And it's only when we walk in the character of Christ, in the way God designed us, that we have total freedom and that he can use us. Amen? And that's what makes us beautiful. Because we're fixable, and we're beautiful, and we're made just the way he wants us. Amen? So if you ever doubt it, if you think, man, I blew it, listen, right up here, just a few minutes ago, I promise you all didn't see it, but my heart was being knit back together over something. You didn't see it, did you? But that's his goodness. He is amazing. And we get to serve him. And what an honor that is. And it's the beauty of the whole creation that makes the church. Amen.